Got a nasty little welding job to perform way up high in the Paramount Theater where I volunteer to do work. It's about 50 or 60 feet above the stage. And I've owned this Lincoln 225 amp AC welder for about 50 years, and I've learned to weld on it. It really does a pretty good job. It weighs, I'm going to guess, 50 pounds, and would not be a lot of fun to carry up the winding stairway up to the grid level. So I found a welder online, and I decided for 160 bucks I'd give it a try. And probably kind of a knockoff of a lot of the other ones that are made in America. Probably made in China. I didn't even look, but probably was anyway. But it promises me DC 160 amps. And the duty cycle is pretty short at that, but I don't have a lot of welding to do, and I can tell you that this thing literally it can't weigh much over 5 or 6 pounds. I think it's inverter technology as opposed to the old Lincoln that's transformer technology. So it comes with a ground and an electrode holder leads that are about 10 feet long, and about an 8-foot typical 50 amp 220 volt single phase welder male cord in there. So we're going to plug it in and give this thing a try. So it's plugged in and running now, and you can kind of get an idea of the size compared to the Lincoln below it. And you can hear it's got a cooling fan that's running. To select the amperage on it, you turn that and it gives you a digital readout of the amps you're using. I'm going to be trying a 7018 rod and vertical up welding. I'm going to start it off at about 100 amps and see how that goes. So I've taken 2 chunks of 1/4 inch angle, and they're going to mimic what I've got to do tomorrow up in the theater. I've ground out, I've prepared it like you would want to do if you're going to make a butt weld, and then I've got a 7018 welding rod in there, DC positive on the electrode. I'm going to hold the electrode about like that and just give this a test and see how it goes. Just checking for amperage to see whether or not it's hot enough or too cold or whatever. So this is reality TV, folks. Never tried this before in my life with this welder. I have not welded anything. Got my bucket to sit on here to make sure I stay nice and stable. Got my knee to rest my elbow on. I'm gonna strike an arc right about there and just kind of see what happens. First, I better put my gloves on. The longer ones would be better. If this doesn't go well, we'll stop right away and get some longer ones. All right. Alright, that's about halfway up the joint. I'm going to stop and clean it up and see what it looks like. So for never using this machine at all until just a few moments ago, I welded about 1 inch with it, and that's vertical up, and really doesn't look all that bad for a guy that's never done it very much before. I think the secret is the DC positive on the electrode on the stinger, and then getting the joint ground out. And one thing I'd say is that rod deposits a lot of fill pretty quickly, so I think I might try backing it down to 90 amps and see how that goes. So I tried it at 90 amps, and this part here I did with 100 amps, and then I didn't really dress this up, and I started from here and I went on up and stopped right up there. You can see the little crater left there, and this is done at 90 amps, and I think 90 amps is a better setting. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed with this little welder. Never welded with a 70-18 rod before today, but I'm ready to go after it tomorrow up in the theater and repair a winch up there. One thing I should also mention too is this little welder right now, I've got it hooked up to 220 or 240 single phase. It does come with this 110 volt adapter where it'll run up to, I don't know, maybe about half the amperage or so you can weld off of basically house current. So that's a handy little thing too.